Welcome everybody, it's Agnes and we have a lovely interview today with Ankita.
Hello.
Hello Ankita, good to see you. Really
Good to see you too.
Those of you that are watching this YouTube, you would recognize Ankita from the group discussion that we had last week. There was 9 viewers and me, and Ankita was one of the 9 viewers, and it's been long overdue. I've had it on the radar to interview Ankita for a while, but just the timing worked really well. So here she is, and we're going to ask her some questions about, just her journey, her self-love, etc., etc. So Ankita, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you for having me today, and I feel really blessed to be here and to be able to share things with you. It has been one of my dreams, and today it has come true. I think everything has a divine timing, and today it was the timing.
Yeah.
So you were telling something, I think.
No, I was just thinking about what you and I talked about a minute ago, that we actually shared your story a while ago. So I will put the link down to that story.
Yes.
For those that want to hear what you've done prior, and then we'll hear some stuff live now today.
So prior, when I contacted you, I was not in a good shape last year. I think I have grown as an individual emotionally a lot, and also physically, because I could see changes after doing self-love meditations. So my journey has started with self-love meditations. I actually saw your videos for text message before in January 2017. And then I didn't understand quite how we can, manifest a text message, and then how it works. So I was not into that. But then I watched you for about a month and more, and then I started doing the self-love meditations. The one which you have this emerald green light and it radiates out to everyone.
Yeah.
I think that has changed my life a lot. And also the first fest after that. So I maintained this since the time I had started your meditations. I saw many changes within me. Like previously I used to depend on somehow on others, even though I know that I was financially and I was an independent person, but not emotionally. So like for small things, how we react to people and how we are not patient enough to listen to them, and how we don't understand you pushed out concept. I mean, all these things are possible when we do the self-love meditations, I believe. So first I saw the impact of self-love on my job. Because I attracted a very good job for myself. I mean, I was working with BMW India before, from digital marketing agency, and then I moved on to this huge coaching center, you can call it. It's a group of companies, and it's based out in Delhi NCR. And what it brought to me was loads of lessons along with what you were talking about in the video. So it was like simultaneous teachings for me. So what I got from that job was, first I tried the things on them, on my colleagues, on the people I was working with. So I was thinking, okay, I'm doing these meditations, do they even work? So I had this question as well. So what I did was I radiated love to them. I understood that there were some differences, ideological differences of opinion, and so many things that come together. And that's the contrast that we are going through. So we cannot say that our workplace would be 100% the way we want. So how to, go about this with self-love meditations and other meditations. So I would say from that point till now, I was doing 95% of meditations on me and 5% on the other person or on others. Because I thought that first I have to understand what is happening to me, and then I can probably radiate it out or do something about others. So that was the turning point for me. I understood that, okay, it is all from me, so it's radiating out to others.
Fantastic. And you've I've seen, because I've had contact with you in different ways, and I can see you've just got happier and happier and happier as the time's gone by, which is so lovely. Because I think when we start this journey, we don't even know that we feel unloved and
Yes.
and depressed or anxious or worried or whatever words you want to use. You just know you don't feel good.
Yeah.
And you don't know
So
why.
why? Yeah. So we are like beating around the bush all the time, and we are like, I don't know why this is happening to me is the question.
Exactly.
Why me, and why this is happening to me? The question's answer is within you. Basically, what I learned is, whatever I thought, felt, and believed, it all came true. It was
Yeah.
like my life was a reflection to what I was thinking, feeling, and believing. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but it took me a long time. I think this is a journey. Self-love is a journey. It's a state you maintain every day. It's a choice, and
Yeah.
it has been a journey. And over time, I have understood the "you pushed out" concept. I think nobody understands it in the first few months. Nobody understands it. They are still
Yeah.
like I have gone through that journey also, so I can relate to that. That most of the time we are looking for the other person, or what they did or they said or did to me,
Yep.
instead of taking 100% responsibility of what I am doing to myself.
Yes.
So at any point we have this choice to just take a pause
Yeah.
and reflect, what have I gone going on, that you talk about in the channel.
Yeah.
What am I doing to myself that this is in front of me, this result, this person behaving like this with me?
Yeah.
I think that is the moment that you can actually recognize your own power.
Yep.
The power is within you, and you don't expect the others to change, but you change within you, and then that gets reflected back
Yeah.
from
I
the
think
outside.
I think Everyone Is You Pushed Out is
Pushed
one of
out.
the
Yeah.
most incredible lessons in life. I just when I finally learned it, like, you go through the stages where you go, yeah, okay, I understand that, but he just did that to me.
Yeah.
You still do that. You still do that until you get faster and faster and faster at saying, hang on a minute, what was I thinking, feeling, and believing that that's in front of me? And you get better at catching it more quickly. And that's a skill. It's a skill.
Yeah. It's a skill. Also, with that, I think living in the end is also a skill, because
Yep.
I hear a lot of people saying, I was in that state and then I came out of that state. Look, in doing these meditations, I understand. I have also gone through the same thing. Like when you do the meditations, you feel good for 20 minutes. But
Yeah.
what is missing here, I found, was why I also faced the same thing of feeling nice, feeling good, having it, and then it dropped. Why? Because 20 minutes of meditation or 1 hour of meditation and then 23 hours of complaining, or
Yeah. Yeah.
you
It
know
does.
what I mean, right? So
Yeah.
23 hours we are not mindful of what we are talking in our head, what is going inside our head again and again.
Yeah.
So over time I have become very choosy of what goes inside my head
Yeah.
and what I'm actually taking. So right now, from a person who was always believing on the outside, I've become someone who's believing in on the inside. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I have become very independent emotionally now. So
Mm. And people that are independent emotionally are extremely attractive people because their energy is contained. There's less drama on the outside.
yeah, yeah,
You spend more time meditating and going, okay, what do I need to change? And
yeah,
you pull back rather than
yeah.
creating more drama.
More drama. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
So so
wonderful.
so I think living in the end is possible when you. This is the whole thing. I mean, when we read Neville, we should read him totally, like from A to Z.
Yep.
if we pick up a book, it should be like totally from page 1 to page 10. What I believe I'm also striving to do. But the habit of reading Neville should be there for every one of us, I think, whoever is practicing LOA,
Yep.
because he has a very clear way of deciphering things to us, and a very simple language to tell us, okay, the whole world is you pushed out, so how do you deal with that?
Yep.
You go back to yourself and you say that I am that consciousness, I'm pure consciousness, and whatever is in front of me, I can change that consciousness, I can align myself with that
Mm.
consciousness that I want. And then it's like the seed and harvest time, like it has its own appointed hour when it will be in front of you also.
Yeah.
So first hour, I think I have understood my job is to understand what I'm creating within, and
Yeah.
then not
Mm.
worry about what's coming, because I know if I have put a good seed, obviously the plant has to be something good. So
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
I nurture my inner self with watering my inner self every day self love meditation. So that is like watering myself. And
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
Neville can help you. Neville can tell you that, okay, you have got the tools within you, but if you can't take those tools and utilize it for yourself, I think it will take a long time for us to understand, or anybody
Yeah.
to understand, and then get results on the outside.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I started reading Neville, I would read, but I wouldn't apply anything.
Yeah.
You have to take the words off the page and put it into
In
practice.
Yeah.
I think
So
what Neville, the thing about Neville and Kita is he says three things extremely well, and I think clearly, is everyone's you pushed out, imagination creates reality,
yeah,
and living in the end. If you can follow those three things that he teaches, and they echo in all the books, he talks about the law of assumption, because the law of assumption really is living in the end. It's living in the wish fulfilled. He talks about it again and again and again in different stories, in different ways. So it soaks in more and more deeper within you. And
yeah,
I just think he's the only one I've ever heard that says God is your own human
human
imagination.
imagination.
He's the only one that's ever said that. And I remember thinking, listening to Abraham Hicks and different teachers, no one else ever said that.
But I would tell you, Abraham Hicks actually said that in her book, Esther Hicks.
Which
Um,
did she? Which
uh,
book did she say it in?
it is Vortex, the Vortex that she
Mm,
has written, and
okay, good.
she has not written directly, but she has said that we are creating this experience. You are in this life, this experience, because we can help you, we can facilitate you to understand your non-physical aspect.
Mm.
So
She
this
says
life
it
is
in
not,
different words. That's all. Yeah.
yeah, in different words, and your purpose in life is not to go after your desire, but to connect with your source energy.
Yeah.
So she talks about source energy.
Yes.
So Neville talks about God as human imagination. So
Yeah. Yeah.
these two teachers, but they are telling the same thing to me after I read them. I mean,
Mm.
but Neville goes further and further. Abraham Hicks has a different way of telling things, according to
Definitely.
law of vibration, and how your vibrations and your words and your energies.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
but Neville has a very biblical way, because he has studied that with this Abdullah,
Yeah.
and he was actually decoding the Bible from Hebrew to English, and also other learnings he has had with Abdullah.
Mm.
So
Mm.
it was in 1920s. I mean, very, very
Yeah.
old stuff. But what I found about Neville was he was a dancer, and for him it was a complete different thing, from an
Yeah.
entertainment industry to
Mm.
becoming someone like he was called the Mad Mystic of 48th Street.
That's right. Yeah, that's actually a really good series that someone did on YouTube. I'll put the link down below where you go through these
Yes,
little fabulous series. But
fabulous series. Yeah.
yeah, Neville was he was physically dancing, and then he went up. He's gone from a physical profession
To mental, totally different thing.
Totally. I find that incredible.
So he has written that in his book, Power of Awareness, I think the third chapter.
Mm-hmm.
I've written some little notes actually for today.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Good. Yay!
Because I don't remember everything, obviously.
I know.
So in just a moment. So there is a chapter wherein he says in number 3, I think chapter number 3, that this is a journey from the mental to physical, from the mental to spiritual plane.
Yeah.
So when you are, doing the stuff of LOA and self-love, so what I interpreted is that you have to go from your chattering mind to the higher self within, which is the subconscious mind. Many people call it the subconscious mind. So he calls it the Christ within, the Christ mind.
Mm-hmm.
So now another chapter, which is in page 24, which I've written it maybe in the PDF if you check it. It's the creation chapter, and I think you have read it from when you were sharing your nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
You have read it. However, I say that, he has said that how assumptions lead you to see images and then they become imaginal acts. So let's say in a very simple language, if I put it, what you assume about yourself, you are actually, for him, in your mind, the laws are speaking. And when you are saying, it is like thinking out loud. So you first, whenever you think, your thoughts are imaginal acts for him.
Yep.
So even if, and your thoughts are assumptions.
Correct. Yeah, I agree.
So when you're thinking, people think, oh, I thought something, but something else happened. Maybe the cluster of thoughts have been, you were anticipating, you were doing these meditations, but you were anticipating something opposite.
Yeah.
So that's how it was coming about to you, back to you again and again.
Yeah.
So it's like if we just read these 2 books, and also at your command, these 2 books means Power of Awareness and Law and the Promise.
Yeah.
In Law and the Promise, he goes on to explain that, the mental and spiritual plane, explained that, okay, the human mind and the Christ mind are not different. It is one and the same thing, but the intensity of those thoughts when you have. So for him, Jesus Christ is our consciousness, So when you're thinking, if your intensity of that thought has emotions, means having motor sensors, it goes out, it sticks to something, and it comes back to you. So it's just the law of projection in work, and attraction brings it back to you. Projection is first. So we have to be very mindful about what we are putting in our minds, so that we can anticipate that a better thing is coming back to us. But again, through scriptures, me learning about Bible, and then Neville, and then also in my religion, all throughout my my childhood, and then I have been brought up into Hindu religion. So we have been told in the Bhagavad Gita that you do your work and do not think about the rewards. So let the rewards be. So you plant the seed, and then let it sprout at its own time. So let the time be, let it on me. So Sri Krishna says to it, let it be on me. So, and for me, it has been very interesting, this study of Neville, because I tell you, I have been into a missionary school. So I've been into St. John's Diocesan. It's in Calcutta, and it's being built by British people in Calcutta. And what we were taught was about Jesus. So I used to do that prayer like, Our Father who art in heaven.
Yeah.
And for me, Christmas time was very exciting because we had Dio Fate, means there was a big celebration in school, and everybody used to have those, merry times, and everybody was like Merry Christmas and very nice time. So
wow, that's so interesting, because you would have merged
Yeah, I actually,
Christianity and Hinduism, you're doing two halves at the same time.
at
Wow.
the same time. And also I noticed that, um, see, I would like to tell the viewers that I don't want to go into any religious, any kind of argument over here, or any debate, but would like to say that this is my observation, just my opinion, that Jesus Christ, the way he was born and the way Sri Krishna has been born, it seems to me the same way, and their messages are the same way. So I was like, for me, because I was exposed to Christianity from a very young age, for me, I think this has been a great experience. Like, even my post graduation, I was doing it in London, and I could find the devotees of Krishna and also British people.
Mm,
So then I went back to what I learned in school. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, he has abolished sati system in India. So what used to happen was the Hindus used to go through this funeral pyre for their husbands. And he actually abolished that, and he said that this shouldn't be done with the young women, and they should have the freedom to study, and for the education system to go, uh, for that to grow. So also to relieve the women, for the freedom of women. So what I learned from that thing in my childhood was that he read all the books, religious books in his life, the Bible, Quran, Bhagavad Gita, and then he said, God is one.
mm.
And you wouldn't believe, for the last 5.5 years, I had been having this dream that I saw Jesus once, okay, in my dream. And then I had this dream saying that it was not Jesus actually, it is in bits and pieces. The dream had this message for me that whatever you are looking for outside is within you. So if you are looking at me on my idol, you should look within you, because you can
Mm,
find me within you.
mm.
So that's how I could relate to Neville's teachings. And I was like, gosh, this is the same thing, that, the same message is coming back to me again and again,
Yes, yes.
through through different people, through different religions.
Mm,
And
beautiful. And Ankita, in the 90s, when I came to India,
yeah,
I went to Puttaparthi to see Sai Baba. And
okay,
I spent a month in the ashram there. And above, when you first walk into the ashram, there's a big circle, and it's got
okay,
all the symbols of all the different religions. And he always said, everybody's welcome here, that we are all one.
yeah,
And
we are one.
yeah, and that's what I loved about Sai Baba, is that he embraced all religions. He believed that it was all one as well, so everyone was welcome there. And I remember thinking, oh, how refreshing. It's not
So
my religion's the best, this is the way,
yeah.
it was all accepted. I loved that.
So you went to Shirdi, Sai Baba?
I went to, yeah, I saw him in 1990. I think it was 93. Yeah.
I heard your story of $1.5 million. Somebody had
Yes, that was, yeah,
somebody had gotten $1.5 million, and I was like, wow, is this even possible?
yeah.
And then I read that you went to Sai Baba's mandir, and it was so shocking, because my mother had actually been someone, I was not into this religion thing before
Yeah,
10 years or 12 years, but
yeah.
since 12 years we are practicing Sai Baba's teachings.
Okay.
So yeah, so so
Wow.
this is something, I think it is all related, because he always propagates this message that God
Mm.
is,
Yeah,
Sabka Malik Ek, means everybody's God is one, like
yeah,
God is one. And in one mandir, in one temple, you can find mosque as well
yeah,
there,
yeah.
and everybody is allowed to be there. and
Exactly.
and it's just equality. I think it is the greatest religion on earth.
Mm.
You are accepting human beings as they are, and not according to the caste, creed, and
Yeah,
religion.
yeah, yeah. I think it is
So
wonderful when we instead of my religion's better than yours, that we come from acceptance and that everybody goes around the circle a different way.
Different ways.
Love that.
And
Love that.
And since 12 years, I think 12 years ago, my mother had this prayer to him that, I want my daughter to study here in Pune. I was there in Maharashtra. And then from there, I did my graduation and post-graduation. And then I went to abroad.
Yeah.
But before going, he had this prayer that, okay, I'm giving her life to you, to Sai Baba. And I was like, why is she doing this? Why is she taking me why is she taking me to temple, and why is she wanting me to, be in the vicinity of, why does she want God to take care of me?
Yeah.
And then I understood over time, over these years, that this was the greatest surrender technique ever.
Yes. Wow. You know what's funny, Ankita? I go and see my mum when I'm in Australia.
Yeah.
And she's believed in Sai Baba for 30 years. She's got this huge poster. It's like nearly as tall as I am in the cupboard. And she's the same. She's just always loved his teaching. She's always read his books. She's always followed. She's always prayed and done it that way. And I thought, you see this develop in your parents and you go, what are they doing? But later it makes more sense. It makes more sense.
Because she is a person who never clinged onto me. So I am the only child of hers, and everybody used to ask her, how did you, send her so far from you?
Yeah.
Being the only child, how can you just keep her in so much far from you? But I learned this from her that, love is not about attachment. Love and attachment are two different things. If you love someone, let that someone go.
Yeah, and they come they come back if you let them go.
They come back, and I've always chosen her in my life. Always. I was never a child to not, tell her things, hide things from her. And she has been very thankful for that and thankful to God.
Yeah.
The only thing she did for me was to just surrender whatever she wants to do in her life, let her do God, and let her bring out her best in herself, and just
lovely. What a beautiful, because a lot of parents aren't like that.
Yeah, I have seen in India, in my vicinity, in my community, many people are themselves fearful that how can I live abroad? How can I live in another city? And how can I adjust? How can I live without my parents? I understand this thing is there, but in Bhagavad Gita, again, it is said that, it's important to go away from close ones so that you can grow spiritually also and as a person in your life. And attachment actually brings people down. I have seen many people going through a miserable life because they are so attached to this pleasure of the supposed pleasure in life. I think that pleasure is something which brings us down over time. So I have followed
just trying to control other people. It's honestly, it's terrible. And people feeling guilty if they don't do what this person says or that person, and they never break free because they allow themselves to be controlled. And that's in many cultures, in many countries. It's not, it's not uncommon.
See, we all are on our own journey, so we cannot say just because she's my mom or he's my father, or because I have actually, what happened is, I will tell you, I've lost my father when I was 15.
Yeah.
So even after that, she took more responsibility of me, and she was like, okay, no problem. I will, never let you feel that you don't have your father. So over time, I didn't understand that this was her plan, that, okay, let me bring out the best in her by sending her to some place which is better for her. I thought at that time, I was a child, so I was like, this is all against me, and she doesn't want me to be with her and stuff. But no, over time I understood that, that time I didn't want to go away from home. But later on I understood that this was actually a good thing for me.
Yeah.
And right now, because I was studying in Symbiosis, which is one of the best, and even that was something, I think Sai Baba's blessings were there all throughout, I mean, with me.
Yeah.
So
How long were you in London?
I was there for 1.5 years because my
Okay.
visa was student visa.
Yeah.
So even people didn't want to leave me because they were like, you have to come back to London. You don't know this life is going to bring you back. But I always have this feeling. So in my family, my grandfather and my mother has been instrumental in my growth. My
Mm.
grandfather saw a dream which he used to tell me when I was very small, like 10-year-old, that, I know from my family you can do it, which nobody else can do. And I see that potential within you, that
Mm.
you can be the person. He used to tell me two things. One is everything can diminish, everything can be destroyed, but not education.
Mm.
And the second thing is that if you become self sufficient, you can take care of 100 more people.
Yep.
And you can take care of your generations.
Mm.
From you, your next generations can take lead. You,
Yep.
you can be the example for your next generation.
Yep. Yeah.
And that really struck me. And I was like, wow, this is
Mm.
something. So even if I was not a good student in maths, never. So I was always good in English. So
Yeah.
he said that, okay, you are not good in maths, no problem. Let's see your scores in the English language, and then probably you can go for this course. And he said you can be a good reporter or maybe in the media, because by the time you grow up, maybe the media would be booming and everywhere there would be news, and news reporters never lose jobs, you see.
Yeah.
So that's how I pursued it. But till that time, I was believing him. So from my childhood, I was believing what he did because he was my example. He never got any money from his parents, but he made everything for himself.
Mm.
So that was a huge lesson for me, that how you can believe in yourself
Yep.
and you can build an empire based on that belief.
Yeah.
Um, and he never had this religious thing that I clinged onto something like outside of me. I know people who have been doing stuff. I go there, I do this routine, and then I come back. But he always had this belief in himself. And I was like, how can a person be so? And he used to read everything possible, like the prophetic books, everything.
Mm.
So, and he was like very ambitious about me, that, okay, in that time, he couldn't do that. He couldn't study so much, so why not my grandchild
Yep.
do that? So that was how I have been brought up, and my mother has also been a very good, courageous person in bringing me up. And yeah, I today it made sense, because it like in Indian families there's a very common dialogue that you can't understand until you become a mother. I think before becoming a mother I understood all this thing. And
That's funny.
so
You had some good role models. Was it your mom's dad or your dad's dad that helped
my
you?
dad's dad
Okay,
my
your
dad's
dad's
dad
dad and your mom have been two good influences. Ah, wonderful.
Yeah. And yeah, so this was the thing. I mean, I lost my father, but my father was also a very brave person. He also always used to help people. So he
Yeah.
was very interested in putting me in a school which would bring out the best possible thing in me as a child. So,
Yeah.
so what I understood from my family was they were always planning ahead of.
Mm.
So when I was like 18-year-old, I didn't have to think about money because they had planned it ahead. And
Mhm.
when she matures and when she grows up, so everything would be done for her. But one thing my grandfather always taught me was self-sufficiency. So he was like, up till one point we will help you. After that, you're on your own. So
Good. And that's good, isn't it? Because it
so
forces you to become self-sufficient. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What great wise words from well, both your mum and your grandfather.
Yeah,
Fabulous.
and it was very regretful for me that I couldn't say to him just when I got the chance to go to London. 11 universities had accepted me,
Yeah.
for my scores in IELTS. You have to go through this. I think you have heard about this IELTS thing, British
Yeah.
Council.
Yeah.
So I scored really well in that, and 11 universities has accepted my
Wow.
my application. And my mother was like floored. She was like, "Wow,
Yeah.
11 universities. That like Westminster Abbey." Then I studied in Middlesex,
Yeah.
but there were other universities like Bournemouth and all over UK
Yeah.
basically. So I used to go for Skype interviews, and my mother was like, "How do you understand the accent? Um, isn't it difficult for you to talk to them?" I was like, "This is the whole thing, you know. I have to study, and I will do it. I mean, I
Yeah.
know I will do it."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and my mother is somebody who loves to go for trips. She just loves to travel. So for her, it was traveling to that place, and for me, it was like to go and study and make my grandfather's dream come true.
Lovely.
Um, so even though I was not knowing LOA, I was doing that.
Isn't that
So
great? Mm.
yeah. So in
Fantastic.
my community, it's a big thing actually in today's date, and everywhere I have seen like people want to go to abroad. Even then, I think that time we were having UK was going through some recession as well,
Yeah.
and other parts of the world in 2011. It was way back. So my grandfather just died a few months before I went there.
Okay.
And so I had this regret that I couldn't tell
Mm.
him, but his family and every one of us, you know, we
Yeah.
were there to witness it that finally it's happening. Even
Yeah.
the day I was there for the visa, you know, that time everybody was like, you know what, nowadays you don't get the visa and they just reject it, you know. And I was full of hope. I knew that I'm looking at this target, this goal that I have for myself. I will do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And even in the visa thing, like the final thing, that when you are told the result, before that, the person told me that he got rejected thrice. And I just listened to him, and I was like completely not into that. And I knew that this is not for me because with me it is done. I
Yeah.
had this feeling it's done.
Yeah. And it was.
So yeah, it's done. And when I went there, the officer just looked at me and she just smiled that look how confident this girl is. She knows already.
Mm. Mm. That's
And that was the moment. I mean, you know,
yeah. So what did you study so that people know when you went to London, what did you actually study?
I studied media and communications management.
Yeah.
So it's a post graduation full time course in Middlesex University in Hendon.
Yeah.
And I was at that time of Olympics over there.
Yeah.
So the Olympics was happening and it was a merry, merry time.
Yeah. Lovely.
So I think Olympics happened after 2011, 2012, I think. I think so. So I was there for a long period of time and lots of lessons over there as well that, you know, you can maintain your own culture. You don't have to really become a Western person by
Yeah.
going abroad.
Well, especially London is so full of, I mean,
Yeah, so full of
there's so many cultures here. It's just so
cultures, yeah. Mm.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
So one thing I did while anticipating this thing was I didn't know about LOA, but I was practicing that because my mom was completely talking to people who were there because it was exciting for her, you know. So she was telling me, you know, these streets, you go there, the double deck bus and all these routes, you know, there has to be a metro route, you know, you have to
Yeah.
know the map. And she was telling me all these stories, and I was not at all listening to her. I was listening to Coldplay because that's what the brand was. And always you know, I used to listen to Backstreet Boys and Coldplay and all these
Yeah.
things. So for
Yeah.
me, songs related to me, and with the song I used to visualize, okay, I would be going to my classes and I would be meeting friends. So yeah, it was a dream come true. I think more than 16 country people were there in my class, and I
Beautiful.
was, yeah. And I think people remember me till now. I mean, wherever I go, that was
Beautiful.
good.
Beautiful. So since you finished the course, you've gone on to work
On work, yeah.
in media.
I tried in media in Delhi, but then I saw that there was some political things which were going on and many things. So I was always a person who was peace loving. So I thought that even
Mm.
though I did the course, I think this is not for me.
Yeah.
Um, this reporting, and there
Yeah.
would be no life because 12 hours, 16 hours shift, and anytime you
Yeah.
go, you have to go and report about bombing, about rape, about so many
Yeah.
things in the
Yeah.
world. And currently, I'm in the stage I have stopped reading news for
Mm.
since many months now because the
Yeah.
world is full of destruction and bad things and things happening. But the major part was that time what was happening was that UK media and US media are somewhat following each other, but
Mm.
Indian media is different. So Indian media is about some ideologies, some things that goes around in the media. So
Okay.
I was like, I don't want to, even my uncle and everybody else was trying for me to be in the media because I had studied that, and it would have been great if I had, but it was a conscious decision. I would say that I didn't want to go into the media and face that
Yeah.
life. I
Yeah.
wanted to contribute to the society in a different manner because I saw my grandfather, I saw my father, very giving people. I mean,
Yeah.
people who wanted to breed others, to, we had a medicine business, paternal business. So
Yeah.
we used to also give away free medicines to people.
Yeah.
So that's how I learned, like, I should be giving in some other way. I can be a contributive person, with a different manner.
Yeah.
Um, so I chose a field which my mother has again inspired in me, which was in writing. So she
Yeah.
said, "You're a very creative person, and I know that you can write." And I was like, not believing in myself. I was like, that
Yeah.
time, I used to write poems and stuff and small things and blogs. But
Yeah.
then she said, "I know you can write well." And then again, her belief in me. So I've worked with some of the best. I think now Google wants me to join them.
Yeah.
So
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 is it
this
commercial writing?
yes, commercial writing, and also I think I have been into journalism as well all these years, even though I didn't want to directly,
Yep.
not in the broadcast, but I have written many feature articles for Times of India, for um, some of my articles have been published, but it is not directly by my name, by the company's name.
Okay.
So by my
Cool.
name, I have some websites where my write-ups are published,
Yeah.
but most of the time it's from the client side. You see, we have some
Okay.
agreements, we cannot disclose that. But
Yeah.
I have worked with some great companies.
Lovely. Lovely. And is your writing that you do on your own, is it up on a website for the public to see, or is it private?
It's up on a website. However, it is about, so it is not updated now.
Yeah.
I was supposed to update it, but I couldn't just find the time because I was doing my own project work all
Yeah.
this while. So I can send you the link if you want.
Yeah, we can put it down below. Yeah, why not?
So
Why
it's
not?
different type of write-ups. So the
Yeah.
most interesting thing was the creative campaign that I did for BMW India. It was 18 dealership sites, and
Okay.
yeah.
Lovely. So you work full time, Ankita?
Uh, I was working full time, but in between, I took this decision that I want to dedicate my time more to bringing myself up because of some things that happened
Yeah.
the last
Yeah.
1 year, and you know that very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought that okay, and also the work life was going fine. However, I took this decision that I want to go for freelancing because I saw my potential for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So I was like, even though I am working as a freelancer, I can take care of other stuff like my personal life. Right now I'm in my hometown, so this privilege, this
Yeah.
freedom, I was
Yeah.
not having with a 9 to 6 job. So
It's so good, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, it's
So
so
good.
good.
I would never go back to working full time.
Yes.
Never.
And you sustain that also with
Yeah,
kids.
you can do your meditation. You can wake up
Yeah,
late. You can stay up late. You can go exercise in the middle of the day. You just you know, you schedule clients and things you got to do around other things, and you make them work together as a balance. It's so good.
So one funny thing happened was, my mother has been a self-employed person for all her life.
Yeah.
And recently, this was a game that I was playing. So nowadays, I play games with these techniques and stuff, how law of attraction is working for, let's see. So I was like, every morning she would wake me up, and I would miss my meditations because if somebody is waking me up, then my whole momentum goes. And if I speak, I'm awake.
Yeah.
And that thing doesn't work with me because I worked hard to.
I know.
The main thing is to go to sleep and then get up. That time is very important. But I can't explain it to her. So what I did was I told my subconscious mind while going to sleep, I see her quiet in the morning.
Yeah.
And she is very loving, kind. I told myself that, okay, I want to see her not waking me up.
Yeah.
Because I knew if I tell her, she will definitely wake me up. So,
yeah. Yes.
I don't know why she doesn't listen to this thing. So I told myself while going to sleep, I don't want her to wake me up. That's it.
Yeah.
You won't believe I have been doing this game since 2-3 weeks and it has been working. Someday she will not wake up at that time.
Yeah.
So I get time to do my meditations.
Yeah.
The other days she will have somebody coming in, so she will be busy elsewhere.
Yeah.
So something or the other will happen, but she will not wake me up.
Wonderful.
And now the best part, because I had this intention that I want to see her in a better place and also doing something which doesn't coincide with my time.
Yeah.
So now she has started working somewhere which requires her to go from 10 to 7, and which is something which is very surprising because this never happened. She never accepted such requests before of being with working somewhere for that amount of time, because she has been a self-employed person. She has had her own arrangements at home.
Yeah.
So she has been very happy. I got this opportunity. I'm doing this. And in my mind, I was like, this is me pushed out. Good.
Now I can sleep in.
I can sleep. I can do my work. And she doesn't understand. Why do you do meditation so much?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, Mommy, it's because I'm a very peace-loving person, you see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to bring myself to that position of, taking care of you, of knowing you better and have better and nowadays we are having quality conversations, which we never used to do before.
Wow.
Because I understand you pushed out concepts. So in my head, I already send her that love and that appreciation and everything.
Yeah.
And then obviously she responds to that. So here is one point that I understood this time is that when you experiment with other people or when you do these techniques, it's not only about the SP, but it's about like how life is responding to you instead of happening to you.
Correct. So, yeah, you're harnessing it rather than reacting to it.
Yeah. So I think I have written something. So I used to do the self-love meditations as a commitment to myself. So this time when I changed my job profile from full-time to freelancing, I said this is a commitment and of doing self-love and changing myself, my mind, and also consistency, because the commitment doesn't fulfill itself. It has to have a consistency with it. And also the third point was the clarity. Why am I doing it? So I go back to that and I, maintain these three things: commitment, consistency, and clarity. Whenever I'm having some doubts or questions, either I ask you or I listen to Neville or I listen to people who are, and I'm very choosy about my group of friends and people. I think I have subsided from those negative thought patterns and people who were always talking negative things and bragging, and my circle has become very choosy now. I have become very, very focused on that circle that helps me in nourishing myself. And then because I understand everyone is going to be pushed out, so this is my responsibility to be the best so that others can follow it.
Yeah.
And also it can bring me a good lifestyle, and I think it all has to do with lifestyle. Even Dandapani has said in his video that it is something you choose for yourself, the concentration, the meditation. So I do it for 2 to 3 hours a day, and 2 hours I dedicate it towards chanting, affirmations, or meditation. And then it is coupled in, like, in the morning and in the evening, self-love, and also in between. 95% of me, 5% on them, or maybe the ratio would be 75-25. And then I go back in at night, very specific things that I don't, I basically see what I am going through the whole day, and then I revise it if it is not according to what I wanted. And it has worked for me. I think in my personal life, it has worked a lot for me to revise the whole day if it is not working. And also pre-paving has worked for me. So you do pre-paving, I think, before going to sleep, a little bit of snapshot of what you want, because this is what Neville talks about a lot, that, anything which you don't want is about, you cannot suffer. So it was written in Law and the Promise that you cannot, suffer the consequence of images you have not seen, or imagination that you have not done.
Correct.
So past and present. So present is the only moment. Past and future are memories. One is already there and one is about to come. So what I do in the present is look about what thoughts are going inside my head. And also, before going to sleep, I tell myself those intentions for the next day, and also specific things which I want in my life. And I saw people exactly moving the way I have intended. That's how I understood there's power in my health. So, and right now I think I have become a person from outside to inside. As I said, like, I don't believe in astrology, tarot. I was a person who was getting up in the morning and checking tarot or astrology, horoscope every day. So not tarot, horoscope every day. So from that, I have spammed them out. I completely spammed those. And right now I go inside myself, reassure myself, if some answer I want, I think the answer is within me. So I do that in meditation. And I think you have also shared a meditation in your channel that we can connect with the higher self within. We can ask ourselves, about the questions of life, like what is the next step and how we need to go. So this I think it's a beautiful journey when you start and then you grow as a person. I think I have changed a lot. What I was last year and what I am today is totally different.
And you've got a really good daily routine, which I think is important to maintain that mental peace, emotional peace. Just keep working so that you keep maintaining that, and then all falls into place because you're emotionally secure. You don't need anything from anyone.
And about other people, I think I have been receiving a lot of queries and many things. So I have been doing LOA with others as well. However, just want to understand, like, or present this understanding of mine, basically, that when we are looking outside, it's good. It's a form of growth that we are trying to understand how these things work, and we ask people, which is a very good thing. However, I see in groups that, this is just my opinion and I don't want anybody to feel bad about it, but I think a big point is missing from LOA groups is that if we are writing something, we are actually affirming it.
Correct.
If we are knowing the secret book, and even though it was in my life, I got it in 11th standard, I never read it until last year. So that's a big moment when you have the secret book. It just opens up a very simple thing in your mind. Your thoughts are very important. So what you think, what you speak, and what you write is creating your future as well.
Yeah.
So I think this thing is missing. Whenever we are writing something, we should make this a practice that we don't write something which is against what we want.
Exactly
And
right. And I think that's why people struggle in law of attraction groups so much. But like you
yeah,
said, it's like we all start where we start, and you learn that over time that writing my problem is not going to solve my problem. You must
yeah,
write it from a solution. You must start to focus on the solution. You must start to deactivate the negative emotion. And it seems like when we're learning in the beginning, we just want to talk about the problem. And
talk
that,
about,
yeah, and
yeah,
that's the one thing that just creates more stuff, unfortunately.
more stuff. Because it's a law of vibration, it will, and projection as well, because you're
Yeah,
projecting, and you're saying, gosh, why is it not happening?
yeah.
And then we tell you, okay, you gotta go this way. And
Mm.
then, gosh, why is it not happening? Then after
Mm.
some more miles, you go there and you say, gosh, why is it not happening? And then we
Mm.
say, okay, fine, let's just surrender.
Mm. I've got
So
a
this is the
friend.
way.
I've got a well, she's actually a woman that's become my friend, and we did our same course together. When we talk on the phone, say one of us has got a problem, it's like, okay, how are things? Oh, something's disturbing me. And I will say to her, she'll say to me, you've got 17 seconds. That's it.
Seconds to, and it launches after 17
And
seconds, and you
launches.
don't know how the law. So
Mm,
the laws have been impartial. It is impartial. It is working before you were born and after you will
mm,
go in this
mm.
physical body. It will always be there. So whatever you are thinking, feeling, believing has some concrete thing. And because I'm a writer, I know that whatever I have written 5 years ago
Yeah,
still remains the same, or something grew more for that
yeah,
company because I wrote that,
yeah. Still
5 years
alive.
ago,
Still
still
alive.
alive. So
Yeah,
if your words are still alive, that means in your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, what are you doing? I mean, every day, this is a very simple thing that we need to maintain, that whatever we are asking, let's just ask from the solution state. Okay, I tried this method, it didn't work. How did it work for you? Is a better
yeah,
language than they did it to me, she did it to me, I
yeah,
did it, but I am not getting this, is
yeah,
not going to give you the thing that you want, because you are just want attracts want, having attracts having. It's just
yeah.
that simple,
It is. And focusing on solutions attracts solutions. Focusing on problems attracts problems. It's magnets, magnets,
It's
magnets for
magnet.
everything. So yeah, it's good.
And after learning all these things, after coming to Neville only, I understood that how my self-talk was creating for me. Previously, I didn't have this thing. Even though I was practicing LOA and I was listening to you, I was like, gosh, why did she always say that everyone is you pushed out? Okay. But why is like love is not over there and over here,
Yeah.
and why all these things she's telling again and again. And then I understood that, okay, this thing is within me, which is shown outside. So everybody who's showing me, like I see my mom, oh my God, she has changed so much. I mean, I can't believe this.
Yeah.
I know it has been because I had been in those groups. I have spoken to people who have done that for themselves. I have been very, I think, dedicated to your channel as well, and all these things. But basically it was an understanding, a self growth within me, that whatever is happening, it's because of your belief about someone. You're holding on to that, and you're
Yeah.
like, that person is like that, I know that person for,
Mm.
what, my mom, I know from my birth, obviously, and for 3 decades she never behaved this way, like the way she's behaving now. It's completely different to what
Lovely.
she was before, and it's all because I have applied the things that I've learned from
Yeah.
Neville and from your
Yeah.
channel,
Yeah.
and just being in that loving state and not trying to suck her love or whatever. Just
Yeah.
a bad word. I'm sorry, but
Yeah. Yeah.
just,
No,
just
that's what it's like, isn't it? You try. Yeah.
yeah, and just being in that place of peace and
Mm.
love is enough. I think you don't need to go and become something for someone. And this thing was also in me, that I have to become something to be worthy of someone's love. It's
Yeah,
not like that.
it's
you
not
just
like that.
become
Yeah,
you just become worthy to your own self. In front
exactly.
of you, you see yourself in that
Yeah.
model, like, okay, I am this person now.
And
I
I
am
am,
now this
I'm enough.
person.
I am enough. I'm not,
Enough.
you don't have to think I'm
Enough.
not good enough because I haven't got, a degree or a husband or children or whatever. You're enough just as you are right now. So, yeah,
Yeah. and
beautiful.
and this thing is like, living in the end has given me a lot of confidence. Living in the end is like, completely stopped my feelings of how it's going to happen and when it's going to happen, to a degree, because I know the thing is with me right now. My work is to just, let's say, if it is about my SP or something,
Yeah,
my work is to just love and then release it, to just radiate it out.
yeah,
And I know that I am having him in my heart. He's with me.
yeah,
So this thing is what happened to me. I stopped questioning things, and I trusted the process. And I
yeah.
trust the process. I see the results. I trust the process. I see the results. And 100% of the time, whenever I surrendered, everything came to me, whatever it is, even in the SP
Yeah,
job, anything.
I
And
agree. I think, Ankita, I think surrender is so not valued enough
yeah,
with
yeah,
law of attraction, because it's
yeah.
always, what can we do, what can we do,
Two
what can we
kids,
do. It's not about doing, it's about aligning. As
lighting,
Esther Hicks, you
and
align with it, you let go. And she talks about the art of allowing, the art of allowing,
art
the
of
art of
allowing.
allowing. She says it all the time, to the point where you don't even hear her say it anymore.
Yeah.
So
I can
allowing is so important.
I can send you the link of the book I was talking about, The Vortex, and
Yep.
people can just go through it and just check it. Like, she has given very good explanation of why things are happening to us, and how
Mm,
you can
mm,
use the law of vibration and projection, and whatever you have been using, why this vibration and alignment thing is coming again and again. Alignment is nothing but, you know,
yeah.
what I understand is just to be in that place of
Mm,
joy,
mm,
peace,
mm.
relief,
Relief.
relief.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think Neville also talked about this. The feeling of relief is the greatest feeling, because you are reaching for that feeling of relief all the time.
Yeah.
You're actually doing all these things. You want desire, desire, desire. I was also in that mode, desire, desire, desire. And then one time it comes that when you're living in the end,
Yeah.
you feel that relief. You're like, it's done.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
that's the thing I think we are all aiming for.
We are. And relief is one of the greatest things. It is. I mean, you can call it lots of different other, labels, but relief is what
Relief.
we're reaching for. And
Yeah.
Kita, I'm going to have to go because I've got to go and meet a client and I've got to catch a
Okay.
bus. Um,
Sure, sure.
but I think there's so much more to talk about with you. I think we need to do a part 2 soon. Because it was like, this is just like, it just opens up all these other things to talk about. So are you willing to answer comments in the thread for people?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Are you willing to answer people's questions in the YouTube
Sure,
thread?
sure,
Yep.
sure, sure.
Okay, lovely. And oh, lovely conversation. It's so good to hear your journey, and I think it'll be really good for people to hear it. Anything you and I talked about, I will go through and put the links down below I did read that Vortex book years ago. Totally forgotten about it because it's been like about 10 years, or I don't even know, because I think at the time I started, I used to go and see Esther every time she came to Sydney in the big, auditoriums, and it was always such an amazing experience. And she's still one of my favorites too. I love Neville,
Yeah,
but she's still alive. That's what's
yes.
great. So
Amazing person.
it
I
is,
mean,
and
can
great
change
to
your life.
experience being there is amazing because you're in a
Well,
huge
you
group.
are amazing for me. You have changed my life and so many others. So you are like the live Esther Hicks for me. I mean,
Oh,
wow.
that's lovely. Thank you, Ankita. And thank you for the flowers and for the chocolates that you sent me.
Thank you so much. This is my very little thing that I did. My friend actually, it's not even, so I thought that, from India I will send, so it's better to send you from London.
It's lovely. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'd show you what they look like, but they've started to go like this now.
Yeah, I knew that. So I was like, I was trying to give you a surprise. So I was surprised that you were not there.
No, I wasn't there. No,
And then I came to know that you were not there, and then these flowers will die. So I was like mailing you, please.
yeah. And I didn't
Take
get
it from.
emails until I got home, and I went, oh no.
I think I didn't prepay properly, so next time I will keep that.
And then to prepay that better. Yeah. So thank you very
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. You're such a love in my life. Thank you very much.
Look, I'm just blown away to hear your story and to hear where you're at. Look, that to me is the most exciting thing. When people get relief, that's it. That's it. If you manifest, great, you will manifest, but to get relief first, that to wake up happy to be you, to feel, good in your own skin, that is the gem. That is the biggest gem. So.
And also people also getting affected by you because you are changing. So
for sure. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Agnes.
All right, my lovely. I'm going to say goodbye to the viewers. Do you want to say goodbye?
Yes, stick to Agnes's channel, and thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody. See you in the next one.